had over 20 million hits. Please welcome to the stage my good friend Alison Myrden, everybody. Make it go with Alison Myrden.
Hi everybody, I'm a little shorter than Howard, so I'm going to move this down a bit. Welcome everybody, I hope you're having a good time so far. Ready to start, we've got a lot of things to do. Many thanks to Howard Dover for asking me to say a few words again on behalf of medical marijuana news in Canada and What's Up with L.E.A.P, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the leading female speaker for L.E.A.P and have been battling chronic progressive multiple sclerosis from the age of at least 13. I have carried a prescription then and a license for cannabis as medicine since 1995. Doctors told me and my partner of 22 years, Gary Lynch, that he would be spoon-feeding me in a nursing home by the age of 40 at the rate my health was going many years ago. I am now 45 and up out of my wheelchair and back on my feet going full force. I experience 24 hours a day called tic douloureux or trigeminal neuralgia. That can stop me like I was hit by a speed train for days and sometimes weeks at a time. Please drop by my own website that Howard already told you about called the Medical Marijuana Mission at www.themarijuanamission.com or Google search me, Alison Myrden, to find out my latest. During the latter part of next week, I'll be a witness in a very publicized medical marijuana case here in Canada involving, in one aspect, where we can and cannot consume our medicine, namely cannabis, in public. I'm expected to take a stand for Mark Webb-Chichovich's human rights suit against the provincial government and the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. All right, involved on our side, it looks like we're definitely going to have a battle on our hands. In the second of 3 human rights cases here in Ontario, comedian Russell Barth has taken the Ministry of Government of Community Services, Consumer Services, to the Human Rights Tribunal in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Russell's lawyer, Anthony Griffith, has put the onus back on the Ontario government to prove that there is danger in separating cannabis smoke from patients using their cannabis as medicine in public. Russell's lawyer feels it's up to the Ontario government to prove that we are harming people by consuming our cannabis in public. Russell will have a conference call with the lawyers to find a date in November 2009 to go to tribunal. It's up to Ontario to prove that we already been treated fairly in this country. An interesting way to look at this issue for sure. We'll be certain to keep everyone posted on this case as well. The third and final Ontario human rights suit involves another medical cannabis patient by the name of Steve Gibson and a local Burlington bar and grill called Gator Ted's. Ted Kindos, the owner of the bar and grill, decided that medical cannabis consumers have no rights on his property. Boo. Nothing has been settled yet. More than one person has come out of the woodwork complaining of the same medical marijuana discrimination at this location. Steve's tribunal lawyer, Anthony Griffith, again told Steve they are not going to beat the horse twice. He will let Marcus' case deal with that on the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th of October 2009, if they need that many days. Steve's case is pretty clear-cut, he says. On another note, Mark Emery, the self-proclaimed Prince of Pot, turned himself into Canadian authorities on Monday, September 28th. Turns himself in, pardon me. He's to be extradited to the United States to serve within 60 days of that. Mark is expected to serve 5 years in an American prison for selling cannabis seeds across the border a few years ago. If you want to write Mark, please go to his website at Cannabis Culture at www.cannabisculture.com and find the address there. I've been busy again lately appearing on several American internet podcasts and radio shows, including the Drug Truth Network at drugtruth.net and Time for Hemp at timeforhemp.com. I've been spreading the good news to end prohibition and educate the public to the absolute absurdity and failure of the drug war. I just sent a letter to over 100 Canadian politicians and senators regarding Bill C-15 and mandatory minimums, begging our government in your disgust at the thought of mandatory minimums of 6 months in jail for 5 cannabis plants. All of the Senator's addresses can be found on the Cannabis Culture website as well for those who are seriously interested in being heard. L.E.A.P, the law enforcement agency I speak for, is an incredible organization made up of present-day and retired police officers, corrections officers like myself, judges, lawyers, DEA, and more. We make a point of traveling all around the world to spread the word about legalizing and regulating all drugs and the need to treat all drugs as a health issue. Pardon me, not a legal one. We support those who want to see an end to prohibition and a clean, legal, regulated market for all drugs. We would like to see a regulated market for those over the age of at least 16, according to the Canadian Senate Committee report in the early part of the new millennium. I also wanted to mention Canada's NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. I'm the volunteer coordinator for them. If you would like to join us at NORML and help us bring an end to cannabis prohibition once and for all, I'm the person to speak to. Please contact me at Alison Myrden at coachacode.ca. According to a recent L.E.A.P press release from September 14, 2009, there were over 1,702,537 arrests in the FBI's Crime in the United States report released this past year, or 1 arrest every 18 seconds. That is outrageous and completely unacceptable in this day and age. I agree. Please, I beg you all, stop being so complacent. Get up and say your piece today. Don't be afraid to say how you really feel in your emails to your provincial and federal politicians. Stand up and be heard. I know along the way if you need any help, please don't be afraid to ask. I can be found all over the internet for help whenever and wherever I am needed. Please remember, I am only a phone call or an email away. Thank you for coming to this spectacular show tonight and showing your support for medical marijuana in Canada. And lastly, I would like you to please remember, I don't have MS, I am MS. Thank you and peace.
Alison Myrden, everybody. Alison Myrden, show some love, Alison. Thank you for that.